second session on Chinese culture. So last meeting we talked about the family, or how do you call family members in Mandarin Chinese. So this afternoon we will continue with discussion on Chinese culture for the next 3 weeks. This lesson is more on vocabulary words, no, and more of identifying different elements of Chinese culture. And usually we will also identify what that particular thing is, no? And you have to mention it in Mandarin Chinese. Okay, so again, we're still in that particular objective of identifying important elements in learning Chinese culture. So, as a tourism and hospitality institution, we want you to understand how uh, being a language, learning the language, not just only learn the aspects of the language, but also the culture that is connected to the language. No? So we're tackling this afternoon with some general knowledge on Chinese culture. No? So we are looking forward to this lesson because this is more like parang siniksik lang natin ng uh, various topics on Chinese culture. And later on, by next week, during our asynchronous period, we will be studying some aspects of Chinese culture like literature, art, music, and dance. No, we'll explore on that in this particular lesson. Okay, so let's start first with some little background. No, yes. First, we'll tackle first religion. No, just to give you a sense of why it is Chinese has this particular culture. No, so there are three main religions of China. No, so we have Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. So in this lesson again, I'm introducing you to vocabulary words. So uh, now let me put a pointer here. Okay, so let's start first with the first religion, one of the three major religions of China, Buddhism. In Mandarin, no, we pronounce this one as Fo Jiao. Fo Jiao. Can you read?
佛教，
Fo Jiao.
佛教，
佛教，
Fo Jiao means
佛
Buddhism. So the main religious figure in Buddhism is Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. No, this is their main the main deity they worship, the Buddha, the prophet of the Buddhism. No, Buddhism more or less mga 40% of the population they declare themselves Buddhist, and Buddhism has like different also gods and goddesses within the this circle, no, in Buddhism. But again, this actually originates from India and was spread through the influences of Tibet, then spread to the mainland China. Secondly, we have Taoism. So in Mandarin, we call it Tao Jiao. Tao Jiao. Can you read?
道教，道教，
Okay, very good.
道教，
Tao Jiao. So take note of the pronunciation. Okay, Tao Jiao means Taoism. Taoism is a belief system that uh, believes on the Tao and the Yin Yang, or negative, positive, Yin Yang, like two opposing forces, negative, positive, man and woman, dark and light. No, they believe in the balance of these differences and the way. No, they believe in the way. Kaya nga Tao. They believe in that way to heaven daw in Taoism, no? And they have different belief systems also na are essential with the Chinese culture, no, the customs and the culture of China. Okay, next, we also have Ru Jiao. Ru Jiao. Can you read?
如教
Rujiao. That means Confucianism. So this originates from the philosophies of Confucius or Kongzi in Mandarin. Confucius was it's a philosopher and during ancient China, and he was able to like formulate these different um, deeds, the aspects of morality, the 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 concept of xiao or filial piety. Which I mentioned last meeting, it's all about uh, that religion Confucianism. No, so they believe that in order for you to get into heaven, you have to do these deeds as declared by Confucius. Uh, so these are the three major religions of China. So Buddhism is the largest among these three. Taoism is next, then Confucianism is third. Uh, so they all work. They all are together in um, bringing up the culture of China as a culture today. Now we're done with religion. Let's move with another general fact in Chinese culture. Let's proceed with Chinese clothing. So you have seen these TV shows like they wear these costumes, no, wear these very elaborate fabrics, no. They are actually categorized into three. So the three main types of Chinese clothing, itong tatlo, no. We categorize them into three. First is the Pianfu. Can you repeat? Pianfu.
便服
Pianfu. This is how it looks like. Pianfu. Next, the second one is Chang Pao. Chang Pao.
长袍
Chang Pao.
长袍
Uh, I think some of you might have seen this in some Chinese events. No. And we have also the Shani.
深夜
Okay, Shani.
深夜
Platonian ha. Shani. So this is another uh, type of Chinese clothing, major category of Chinese clothing, traditional Chinese clothing. So again, they are usually divided into three: the Pianfu, the Changpao, and the Shenyi. So we'll describe each of these three. So para may idea kayo when someone asks you to do don like a Chinese costume or some sort, if there's an event, something like that, you know which you want to wear. Okay, let's start first with the Pianfu. Okay, the Pianfu. Um, the Aereo, can you read?
The Bianfu or Penfu was the most popular Chinese dress by far. It was a two-piece outfit that contains a tunic that goes down to your knees. Underneath the tunic, they wear a skirt that goes down to their ankles. But the Pianfu would not be able to Pianfu without a pian, a cylinder-shaped hat that is a very unique costume that was kept for special ceremonies.
Ito yung Pianfu. This is like the most elaborate of the three major categories of traditional clothing. Itong Pianfu, it's more of like a tunic, para siyang malaking robe or gown. Underneath, ang una mong suotin is para siyang skirt na malaki. Then it will go down to your knees. It's a flat skirt that will go down to your knees. No? Then you will wear this robe na makapal. Makapal yan siya. Then you have the sleeves that goes through here. Parang about mataas siya na sleeves. And underneath it, again, there is also some decorations above it. Yung may mga patterns. Yan siya. Along with that robe that you will wear for the pianfu. No? And you have to complete the pianfu with a hat. Like, ito yon. Ito yung nasa ulo ng ito. Ito sa lalaki, ito sa babae. No? Pian, this is a pian, which is a parang hat yan siya na sometimes kung ikaw yung royalty, meron yan siya mga tassel na something. May mga beads dyan na naka ano sa harap. So, This particular dress is only wear through mga special ceremonies, especially weddings. Weddings lang yan sinusuot. Na yun, ang pianfo, sinusuot lang yan ng mga kikakasal, yan yan. Yan yung sinusuot yan nila. If you see like traditional Chinese weddings on TV, sa mga Chinese na drama, yan yung sinusuot yan nila. Tapos that's red, ha? So in other occasions, they also wear pianfo during like a birthday sometimes, no? Sometimes they wear this on birthdays or debuts. Modern Chinese na debut, even the Chinese Filipinos, if they want a Chinese style na debut, yung debutant, naka-pianfo yan siya. Okay? So that's pianfo. Next, the second category of traditional Chinese clothing is what we call the Chang Pao. No? So the Chang Pao. Okay. Gutierrez, please read.
Chang Pao, the simplest of the traditional Chinese clothing. In its essence, the Chang Pao dress was fusion of the chenille and the pianfu. It was a one-piece suit that started from the height of the shoulders and extended down the wearer's ankles.
Ayan, so ito yung pinaka-common actually sa traditional na clothing, itong Chang Pao. They sometimes call it the Cheongsam or the Changsan, no? So, ito yung para makikita niyo yung para may cut dito. I don't know if you see me now. No, para siya may cut dito sa may shoulder banda and you have like the ribbons and it has this yung parang hemline na very straight lang. So sometimes the modern Chang Pao is meron na yang sang slit. Dati wala yang slit diyan. No, pero na yun usually may para ma-emphasize ang figure, nilalagyan na rin yung parang slit. No. This is like a fusion. Meron rin siyang version na panglalaki. It's more hindi siya one piece, para siyang isang shirt then para siyang trousers na same patterns, no. So it's the simplest of all the Chinese clothing, no. So yung sinusuot ng mga during special occasions, mga parang gatherings, ito yung sinusuot nila sa mga Chinese. Ito yung parang cocktail dress kumbaga pag if you compare it to like a westernized na parang dinner party. Pag may dinner party ng mga Chinese, Chang Pao ang sinusuot. No? But sometimes it also is worn in formal occasions po. No? So, yun, Chang Pao. Next, this is another style of Chinese clothing. We call it the sheni. Okay, the sheni. Pamat, please read.
The shenyi is a modification of Pianfu. It consists of exactly the same things as the Fanfu, but the unique thing about this dress is that both pieces are stitched together, so it looks like on very long suit dress.
Yes, yes. Ito yung shani is more popular sa lalaki, itong shani. Kasi you just wear it as one piece, no? Meaning this is like a modification of the pianfo dahil yung skirt na nasa ilalim at saka yung sa taas, yung parang robe sa taas, iisa yan siya naka-stitch together. It's like a very very long dress. It's a very very big dress. It's very heavy actually. When you wear the pianfo, it's the shani. Uh, it takes a long time to wear a shani. Kasi aside from you need like assistants to wear that, and you also have to bound yourself with like in something in the center. Para lang siyang kimono in Japanese clothing, but it's more leaning to the styles of Chinese clothing, no, compared to Japanese na very angular ang pagka-design ng mga kimono. The shani in China, it's more of very elaborate with patterns. You rarely see patterns in kimono, no. So in the shani, you have this elaborate patterns like in the belt side and on your underside, no. So it's again, this is also worn only during like weddings, no, very formal occasions, no. So kung pianfo ang susuotin ng babae, pwede ring sasuotin ng lalaki, shani. no, para complement sa dalawa, no. So these are the three types of traditional Chinese clothing. No, if you want to consider this, no, no, to wear on some special occasions if you want to travel to China or you're invited to a Chinese event, no. So this is some. These are the three you might consider to wear. All right. So those are the clothing. Now, in speaking of clothing, no, these are also worn during weddings, no, traditional Chinese wedding. Okay, so I'm putting a word here. No, this is the word for wedding in Mandarin Chinese. Hunli, hunli, this
Only.
hunli.
Only.
This is the word
Only.
for hunli. This is the word for wedding. So take note of this word. So this will appear in the quizzes. No, hunli means wedding. So this is in traditional Chinese wedding. Ito yon. No. So why is it that 'di ba sa Western countries kahit tayo puti yung sinusuot natin. Pero sa Chinese bakit pula? No? Why do they wear red in traditional clothing? No. Let's ask Palikte. Pakibasa, please.
Traditional Chinese wedding. In China, the color red is considered to symbolize good luck. The color is also believed to keep away evil spirits. It's therefore no surprise that traditional Chinese wedding outfits almost always feature the color red. Thank
Uh, pu-
you.
yan. Pula kasi yung parang lucky color ng Chinese. So, ang mga Chinese kasi yan, very, ano yan sila, kanang very emphasize dyan nila ang pula. Every Chinese New Year, may wedding or lantern festival, mooncake festival, mga anak, good. So, in a Chinese wedding, ang mga sinusuot, pula. No? Kasi yan yung good luck. No? Kasi sa Chinese kasi, ang puti, symbol yan ng mourning. Yung anang naipatay or mga ganon. So, sinusuot, ang mga Chinese, pag patay, puti yung sinusuot, hindi itim. Puti. Siguro. Siguro rin na influence rin tayo bakit nagsuot na rin tayo ng puti during living and all of that. No? So, yeah. So, in Chinese, pula yan. Aside from that, uh, marami pa yung mga traditions na ginagawa ang mga Chinese pag traditional na wedding. Meron pa yung tea ceremony. No, may tea ceremony yan sa Chinese wedding. Kanang ang babae siya yung magse-serve ng tea sa husband niya, then sa kanyang sa parents ng husband, then sa kanyang parents and all of the guests. May ganun yan siya na traditions and marami pa yan actually if you want to research on this, no. Okay, next item of our Chinese culture general knowledge. All right. Let's talk about traditional festivals and events. There are 13 Chinese traditional festivals. These are all part of the Chinese calendar. No, part yan talaga yan. So makikita nyo pag yung mga characters good sa mga Chinese na calendar, yung calendar tapos may Chinese characters dyan. Meron dyan, nakalagay na yan dyan. No? So we have 13. First is Chinese New Year, which is the first day of first month. No, Lantern Festival, 15th day. Zhonghe Festival is around the 15th day of the third month. Shangsi Festival. May Tuan-U Festival. May Qixi Festival. Ghost Festival, Qingmingjie. Mid-Autumn Festival, no, that's 15th day of the 8th month. Double Ninth Festival. There's the Spirit Festival. Water Lantern Festival. The Tongzi Festival and the Lapa Festival. Marami yan siya. They are already indicated in the Chinese calendar and you these are just this is just a list of you have to take note of this. But what I'm emphasizing right now is the upcoming Chinese New Year. So Chinese New Year. In Mandarin Chinese, you call this word Chun Jie. Chun Jie. Can you read? Chun Jie.
Chunjie.
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 Uh, Chun Jie is the Chinese word for Chinese New Year. Okay, this is literally it means spring. Chun or Jie means festival. Kaya spring festival. Chun Jie, spring festival. No? So what is about Chinese New Year, Miss Derio? Can you read?
Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is fast approaching and with it comes a host of superstitions that will apparently dictate how the next 12 months will play out for each of us. Chinese New Year, also called Spring Festival or Lunar New Year, is the festival that celebrates the beginning of a new year on the traditional Chinese calendar.
Yes, oo. So malapit na. So it's actually 2 weeks to go before the Chinese New Year. No, so I'm discussing this because this is like a very major part of Chinese culture, and I want to really emphasize this one on you because one of the topics that usually discuss on Chinese New Year is your zodiac sign, your sign in the Chinese calendar. No, so uh, Chinese New Year is the first day of the first month. This is in the lunar calendar of the Chinese. No, so with it, connecting sa Chinese New Year is what we call the Chinese zodiac sign. So in Chinese, it's pronounced as Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao. Can you read?
生肖
Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao.
生肖
So that is the Chinese word for the Chinese zodiac signs. No. So what are the Chinese zodiac signs? Hatiko, nakadira.
Chinese zodiac sign known as Song Shao is based on a 12-year cycle. Each year in the circle related to an animal sign. These signs are rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. It is calculated according to Chinese lunar calendar.
Mm,
2020 year of the ox according.
yes, 2021 is Year of the Ox. So you might guess now which is your Chinese zodiac sign here. Let's zoom in. So I'm born in the year, oh, mahalata yung age ko. Pero sige lang, I'm born in the year 1991. I'm born in the year of the sheep. No, I'm born in the year of the sheep, 1991. So probably some of you might guess na ano asan dire inyong zodiac sign dire. So pamat unsa imong zodiac sign dire.
Dragon, sir. Dugay naman.
Year 2000, no.
Yes
So
po.
uh, the area yung sa Year of the Dragon gyapon ka.
Yes, sir.
So most of you year 2000 baka mo tanan or may
Si
2001 din.
answer, dili.
Ano siya?
Oh,
2001.
tama kay Kateya.
Di ba
Year of
sa
the tiger, sir.
yung 2001 siya. Okay. So yan. So ganun yan siya sa Chinese
Sir, baga
calendar.
kay nasag na.
Oh, tama kay Kateya.
Yeah. So, ang daming ano ng mga Chinese pa magpa ano sa kanilang swerte, mga ano, may swerte. Kinsa ang mo ang sign na swerte na good na siya mga ingon sa mga feng shui expert na. Ayun yung tinatawag ng mga fortune teller sa Chinese, mga feng shui expert. Like, kinsa imuhang ano unsa na adlaw year or unsa na year lucky si kanitong sign or ano yung mga sign na lucky karon na 2021 ginapakita na sa TV, marami man yan siya. So anyway, so these are the Chinese zodiac signs. So um let us learn some of these yung ano this fact, no. So again, the Chinese New Year falls in the first day of the first month in the Chinese traditional lunar calendar. So this year, so in kung i-connect mo nimo ni sa Gregorian calendar which we use, it falls this year in 2021. It falls in February 12, 2021. So next naman yan, the next festival after this is the Lantern Festival, which is the 15th day of the first month. No? So so in February 12, no, which is a holiday here in the Philippines, good thing. So yeah, long weekend tayo sa Chinese New Year. But yeah, we'll discuss that also by some next few days, no. So yes, we also need to learn also the the Chinese names, the Chinese word for these different zodiac signs. So so let's just to ano na, just to build up your mind. Okay, so we can identify these different characters and also the pronunciation. Okay? So simulan muna tayo sa Year of the Rat. So rat in Chinese is shu,
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 shu. Uh, take note of this ha. Shu means rat. Okay? Ox, neo,
Niu,
New.
neo.
New.
Neo,
Okay.
New.
Tiger, tiger nyo. Tiger, who,
Hu,
Who.
Hu,
who. Yan. Okay, next is rabbit, two,
Tu,
Two.
two,
Tu,
Two.
two. Dragon, long,
Long,
Long.
Long,
long. Okay. Snake, sh,
She,
She.
She,
sh, snake. Horse, ma,
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 yan, ma. Sheep, yang,
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 Yang.
yang. Okay, monkey, ho,
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 ho. Mm. Rooster, si,
Ki,
Si,
si. Yan. Si
Si,
means chicken. So, ang lalaking chicken rooster, it's also si. Yapon siya. Si. Dog is ko,
Go,
Go.
Go,
ko. And lastly, pig is to,
Tu,
Two.
Chu,
to. Yan. So, when we memorize the 12 signs of the zodiac sign, you have to mention them in order. So when I read this, it's Shu Niu Hu Tu Long Shi Ma Yang Ho Ji Go Zu. Yun. So that's how we ano. It's in order. So you have to mention them in order. Is Chinese zodiac sign from the first to the last. So how come ito yung order ng Chinese zodiac signs? Nganong ingana? Then asa diri na wala lagi ubang animals dire. So this is actually came from a legend or a story that dates back ancient times. How these animals came to be because there was a race. May takbuhan, no? So I'll let you show a video on the origins of the Chinese zodiac signs. Just for fun.
'Twas the night before Chinese New Year, and all through the lands not a creature was stirring. Except for the rat, cat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig, and pretty much every single animal in the lands, as they were all preparing for a race. The Jade Emperor, ruler of the heavens, called for all the creatures to participate in a race on his birthday. He decided the people of China needed a way to measure time in 12-year increments. So the first 12 winners of the race would each win the honor of getting a year named after them. The race will be a long and arduous one, passing through a densely wooded forest and a wide river. Cat and Rat were friends and agreed to win the race together by cleverly asking the strong and kind ox to give them a ride, promising to finish after Ox won. As they were crossing the river, the cunning Rat pushes the cat into the water. Then, when they near shore, Rat jumps ahead and wins the race. Ox comes in a close second. Tiger, the king of all creatures in China, struggled with the strong currents, but finally made it across and became the third zodiac sign. Lucky Rabbit hopped across as the fourth, saying she found rocks and boulders to take her across the waters. The powerful and mystical dragon was the favorite to win the race, as he can fly. As he whizzes past the finish line, he explains to the Jade Emperor that he has stopped to make rain to quell a dangerous fire. This kind act pleases the Emperor, and he gladly designated the dragon the fifth zodiac sign. Soon, thunderous hooves are heard as Horse is about to finish the race. Snake jumps out, having secretly hitched a ride on Horse's hoof. Startled, Horse rears back on her hind legs as Snake slithers across the finish line as number 6. With a snort, Horse crosses in at 7th place. Meanwhile, Sheep, Monkey, and Rooster help each other along the race. At the river crossing, Rooster spots a rat, and with lots of pulling, tugging, and paddling, they all manage across the waters. The Emperor, pleased to see this great team effort, honors the Sheep 8th, Monkey 9th, and Rooster the 10th zodiac signs. With a bark, Dog bounds across the finish line as number 11. Such a strong runner and swimmer, he finishes after some of these slower creatures because he couldn't resist playing in the water. Last but not least, Pig trots over and is designated the 12th and final animal. The Emperor asks Pig what took him so long, to which Pig replies, I got hungry and stopped to forage for food. Then after eating, I got sleepy and took a nap. Thankfully, I woke up in time to finish the race. Everyone laughs and then celebrates their honors as the 12 lucky signs of the Chinese zodiac. Hey, but what happened to Cat? Cat nearly drowned after her friend betrayed her. By the time she made it to the finish line, festivities were already underway. Bitterly, she vowed to forever hate the rat, and this is why cats chase rats and are forever enemies. The end.
Okay, so that's the story of the Chinese zodiac sign. Was that nice? Kaya walang
Yeah, kay,
Luya po
kaya
sa
wala
cat,
kay
sir,
sa
eh.
sir.
o kaya walang
Aroy.
walang year of the cat sa Chinese zodiac signs. Tapos yun nga,
Tikasan dudong rat.
oo, tikasan ang rat, grabe. So yes, that's the story. That's a usual story na pinapasa on, no. So yun nga, nandyan yung cat sa story pero sadly hindi siya nanalo. So yes, these are the 12 zodiac signs traditionally part of the Chinese calendar. And yeah, and because of that, uh, certain people born in that particular year are all ano, what you call that, um, connected to that zodiac sign daw, no? And may mga ganyan sa mga fortune teller, mga feng shui expert, mga sinasabi about what is the lucky color, what is the lucky number, mga ganun yun. Ginaganon na yan nila. Tradition yan nila eh. Kaya rin yung mga lucky charms, mga ana, depende daw sa mga zodiac sign ng tao. So, yun na yun daw. No? Actually, I'll put this into detail when we discuss Chinese New Year by next week. No? Marami pa yan. Marami pa yung mga topics na pwede natin i-discuss mentioning the culture of the Chinese people during Chinese New Year. No? Okay. So, 603. So we are um, going into the next part of Chinese culture. You know this already, no? I mentioned this already in the previous basic foreign language. We have mentioned some Chinese dishes, but let's just mention a few for this part, no? So Chinese cuisine in Mandarin Chinese uh, we call Chinese cuisine as 中国菜. 中国菜. Can you read?
Jongko chai.
Zongko.
中国菜.
Jong.
That's the Chinese cuisine
Chan.
in Mandarin. Ito yung word ha. So 中国菜. So what is it with Chinese cuisine, no? What is this characteristic ng Chinese cuisine? No, especially kayo, mga ano kayo, mga hospitality students kayo. So Miss De Ario, can you read?
Chinese cuisine. Chinese food is famous all over the world, but you may be shocked by its surprising range and variety of ingredients if you've only eaten in Chinese restaurants abroad. Chinese food has countless delicious and fantastic ideas, and people from different areas have different cuisine types, which can be bland, sweet, salty, spicy, or sour.
Yes, okay. So Chinese cuisine, no. There are different variations of Chinese cuisine. you have the south, you have the north cuisines. Mostly ang mga north, usually yan mga wheat based yan, like dumplings, noodles, or wheat noodles, uh, buns. Yan yung sa north of China. Galing yan sa north yung mga siopaw. Ang siopaw comes from the north. Kay pao is wheat, no? So flour. So galing yan siya sa north. Yung mga nasa south, yan yung mga ano, mostly mga rice dishes. Diyan galing sa south ng China. Yung mga rice noodles, your bihon, yung mga top rice toppings, that's from the south. But then you also have these flavor profiles of different regions. So you go to Sichuan. Sichuan, China is famous for mga maanghang na cuisine. They're famous. Sichuan is the spicy food, no, in China. And if you want to go like on seafoods, you go to the south, Guangdong or Fujian. That's more of ano yan sila, fish, mga cuisines na more on seafood, no. So again, the flavor profiles of Chinese cuisine usually yan yung lima, bland, sweet, salty, spicy, or sour. Sa atin sa Pilipinas, it's usually just sweet, uh, sour, and umami, no? Or yung umami na parang malinamnam sa Tagalog, no? So, yan yung parang flavor profile natin. Sa mga Chinese, ito yon, more on bland, sweet, salty, spicy, or sour. Yan yung kanilang ano, characteristics ng mga cuisines nila. So let me mention some few dishes, no, just to ano. These are actually usually served during Chinese New Year, no. So let me mention first is fried mash, or in Mandarin it's chow mash, chow mash,
Chow mas.
Chow mash.
chow mash. Yan yung parang yung parang ano yan siya, mash is parang beans, you stir fry it, or usually deep fried rin siya. No, it's made from parang yung toge, beans, yung flat beans, then stir fry together. So, usually ano yan siya, very salty yan siya na, yung flavor niya salty. Another dish I also want to mention is stinky tofu or chow tofu. Can you read chow tofu?
Chow
Chow
tofu.
tofu.
Chow tofu. Itong stinky tofu, popular ito as a street food ito siya. Tapos stinky siya because fermented ito na tokwa. Fina-ferment ito na tokwa, tapos because of the fermentation, nalalak in yung parang flavor ng parang ano, very umami ng tofu. But the consequence, it smells really bad. It smells really bad. Amoy siya. This is usually ano siya, fried ito usually sa mga street food sa China or even sa Taiwan. Sa Taiwan meron ring chow tofu, yung stinky tofu. Imagine na lang nimo good ang amoy aning stinky tofu. Imagine na lang nimo mura siya kanang good ano, baho sa tiil, kanang may anang imagine yung baho nga tiil, ng baho sa stinky tofu. So no, yeah, para sa normal lang gud siya na tokwa or tofu, pero finerment, tapos yun, you have this stinky tofu. Pero because of that, yung fermentation, yung umami taste ng soybeans na preserve. Kung kainin niyo yung stinky tofu without like imagining the baho, nami siya. Actually, pag gawin mo siyang stir fry nimo ang stinky tofu, mawala ang iyahang baho. Kaya siya sometimes is also stir fried also, yung para may sauce, may vegetables na napod na. So yun, this is yun nga, di kaya siya ginaano sa restaurant kay baho siya. So it's usually street food ni siya. No? So yan, stinky tofu or chow tofu. Okay. Another unique dish in Chinese cuisine is what we call yak meat dumplings or momo. So ayan. So ito yung word, yak meat dumplings. Momo. Momo.
Momo.
Momo.
Momo.
Oh. It's usually known also as momo. Momo na ano, the word momo. So itong momo, mura siya, tanawa siya, mura siya siopaw, momo. Pero gamay na siya na dumpling, ana na siya kagamay. Mini siopaw, pero ang suulod ana, it's yak or yung parang it's an animal na mura siya bison, something. Para siya bison. You only find this in northern China. So yung mga yak, Mongolia, Inner Mongolia or Heilongjiang. So makakain mo lang siya ito. So you can eat yak dumplings or momo. So ingon nila it's like a acquired taste. Para siyang ano, para siyang beef na may lansa. Something like that. Yung texture na medyo iba. Medyo matigas daw yung yak. Pero yan yung parang siniserve rin sa, usually this is served um, in Inner Mongolia ito. Inner Mongolia kasi ito na ano, na famous tong meat dumplings. And also in Tibet and also in Xinjiang, siniserve rin ito. Okay? Momo, yak meat dumplings. Okay. We also don't want to miss noodles. No? In Chinese, it's mian. Mian.
Yan.
Mian.
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 Mian is noodles in Chinese. So, uh, maraming noodle dishes in China. Yung mga may soups, always if you go to Chinese restaurants, it's either stir fried or naka soup or sometimes fried, no. These are noodle dishes. There's a lot of noodle dishes in China. And people would argue noodles are sometimes some would say they are originated in China or sometimes they originated from Italy through the Silk Trade. But then andyan naman it's an influence dish in China. No, noodle dishes. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, Chinese dining etiquette. Miss Gutierrez, can you read?
Chinese dining etiquette. As an ancient civilization, Chinese pay great attention to establish etiquette. With thousands of years development, Chinese has their own unique dining culture and etiquette, which foreign visitors may find quite different from what they are used to and even considered weird.
Yeah. Merong if you go to China or Taiwan and you are dining with native speakers of Chinese, you would find out they have like very different etiquette when it comes to eating food. So I'm listing a very few lang of this Chinese dining etiquette. Number one is be graceful and polite when taking food with chopsticks. Merong ginagawa sa China. Let me get my chopsticks for a while lang. Kukunin ko yung chopsticks sa kusina. Ayan. Chinese dining etiquette. Be graceful and polite when taking food with chopsticks. Um, sa mga Chinese, tanggalin ko muna itong screen share. Ayan. Okay. Sa mga Chinese kasi, pag magkaon mo sa mga balay na Chinese, when you are being served food, uh, it's very rude sa mga Chinese na inaana pa nimo, gina-search pa nimo ang food. Ana-ana pa nimo. Kung pilion pa nimo pilion pa nimo ni, no. Dapat you must know what you need already. Tapos, pag giserve na ka sa katong pagkaon, diretso nimo kuhaon to unsay imong gusto, no? Kasi ang ana to na ano, mag-ana ka, mura na siya murag nangita kag patay. You are digging the graves. Murag ana ba? Very ano daw yan, offensive yan sa kanila. Magpangita pa kag ana na pagkaon sa table. Sa Pinoy okay ra na pero sa mga Chinese dili na. No? Okay. Number 2, don't make much noise when eating or drinking soup. Diba sa mga Chinese meron mga bowl ng mga soup or noodles. Kung mag-ingana ka, wala siya ano. And especially also pag ginaana nimo ang bowl basta especially kung kanang porcelain or kanang ceramic ang imuhang di siya ana-ana nimo. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Ay mura na siya ano. Imagine mo good tanaw gud sa mga nagabaligya o mga Chinese na Lucky Charm nay murag bowl diyan. Mao nang ginatawag na singing bowl, mga ting, mga anak nila. So mura na siya you're calling spirits daw. So kung you're so noisy when eating soup, mura na siya ano, you're calling spirits daw. So that's a no-no. Number 3 is parehas sa sa ato don't talk when there's food in your mouth. Don't talk when your mouth is full. Offensive man po na sa ilaha, oy. No. It's a general etiquette. Number 4, don't point someone with your chopsticks. Ayaw dyan ang ana. Ay, ikaw? Ganun? Na. Don't point someone with your chopsticks. No? Ginabasa ko lang yung nasa slides. No? Don't point with your chopsticks. You're like accusing someone. No? You're like accusing someone of murder or you are putting a curse on that person. No? So, no siya. And, balikan ko yung slides yan. Lastly, yun, yung pick the teeth with toothpicks, not your chopsticks. Bawal siya. You don't use your chopsticks as your toothpick. There is a separate toothpick that you should use, no? So, para it's also what we do, no? Pero offensive sa Chinese rin na mag-ana kasi mong ngipon ana. No. That's very rude etiquette. No, there are lots more of dining etiquette, no. Marami pa dyan, like you don't play with your chopsticks. You don't play with this, or you cannot tawag nun, you cannot like ana imong food marag ginatuhog nimo ang food with your chopsticks. Mura na siya kanang ko sa mga patay, naikanon dira tapos anak nimo. Mura na siya nag-alay ka sa patay. Bawal jud na. Tapos whenever you're done with your chopsticks, tanggalin ko man na para may idea kayo, no? Pa mag-dine kayo, tapos na kayong kumain, never cross your chopsticks. Parang good sa spoon and fork. No. It's parang you're placing a curse on someone. So in order to you, if you're done with your food, you should lay your chopsticks horizontal to you. Not vertical, horizontal. Ano siya? Yan. Do you see it? Yan. Dapat, or pag nasa table, usually there's like a lacquer plate, yung parang plato na square or rectangle. Meron siyang place for the chopsticks. You place there, naka-horizontal. Ano siya. So yun. So there are very strange etiquettes rin yung mga Chinese when it comes to food. I don't know. It's maybe part of because of their superstitions kuno of their traditions also. So yun. So those are Chinese dining etiquette. Okay, I think this is the last that I will mention in this session today. Chinese historical places. Ano tayo tourism and hospitality. So we're obliged to also mention some of them because you don't know, we'll also do tour guiding some sort, no. So China has a lot of landmarks, no. But I will also mention, but I will mention seven, no. These are seven of the most famous historical sites in China, which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Number one is the Great Wall of China. That's number one. Second is the Forbidden City. It's in Beijing. The Terracotta Army. That's also in Beijing. The Potala Palace. That's in Chongqing. The Summer Place, which is in Chongqing also. The Mokao Krotos, which is in Guangdong. And the Free Confucian sites, it's in Beijing, Shanghai, and in Chongqing. So, marami yan siyang ano. There are lots of places you can also visit, but these seven are those historical World Heritage Sites by the UNESCO. So, in this lesson, I only mentioned two. First, I will mention the Great Wall of China. Okay? So, take note of the Chinese name of this place. It's Wanli Changcheng. Wanli Changcheng.
One
Wan Li Chang
function.
Cheng.
Wanli Changcheng.
Wanli Changcheng. You have to take note of that. Wanli Changcheng, or the Great Wall of China. So, what is the Great Wall of China, Miss Pamat?
The Great Wall of China is the one of the greatest sites in the world. It's an ancient defensive architecture. The Long Wall has a long history, more than 2,300 years. It was built in different areas by different states, dynasties to protect different territorial borders. The entire Great Wall of China zigzags across the mountains of the northern China. We highly recommend hiking along the best protected section of the Great Wall, Mut saan
Mo Tianyu.
Mutanyu and Jinshanli.
Uh, so, yeah. The Great Wall of China is one of the greatest architectural wonders of the world, no? So, you can actually, sabi daw, you can actually see the Great Wall in space, no? When you go to space, you can still see the Great Wall of China. And this was built because of defensive or border protection, parang ganun, no? This was during the dynasties wherein Mongolia in the north was trying to invade China, no? So, through this Great Wall, na protect yung sovereignty ng ancient China. So, the entire Great Wall is parang it it it's not really a very continuous section. It's like a section of different walls, no. But there are may different parts siya. But the most popular among tourists in the Great Wall is the Mutianyu, which is in Beijing, and Jinshangling, it's somewhere near the Inner Mongolian border, no, the Jinshangling part of the Great Wall, no. So when you travel, uh, usually dinadagsa talaga to ng mga tao itong Mutianyu and Jinshangling part ng Great Wall. And can really see like this heritage na ano, yung parang mga sections na parang may tower dyan. There is like, that is like a fortress na parang watchtower, kumbaga. So yan yung mga parang tinitingnan ng mga soldiers kung may naga-invade na persons doon, no? Mongolians actually, no? So that is the Wanli Changcheng, or the Great Wall of China. Okay, malapit na tayo. Okay. So next, we have the Forbidden City. Okay, so in Mandarin, it's pronounced as the Zijincheng, the Zijincheng,
Zijincheng. Zijincheng.
自进城，
Zijincheng,
Zijianshang.
uh, Z I
Zijincheng.
Z I J I N C H E N G, Zijincheng, Zijincheng, Forbidden City, Forbidden Fortress. No, yan yung literal meaning ana. No, Forbidden City, 9,999 rooms for 24 emperors. Can you read, Miss Gutierrez?
the Forbidden City or the Palace Museum. is one of the most visit attractions for travelers to China. It is used to be an imperial palace in the Ming 1368 and to 1644 and Qing
Ching.
1644-1911 dynasties. The layout of this palace is strictly according to Chinese Feng Shui theory. Chinese best preserved imperial palace is the world's largest ancient palatial structure, 7.2 hectares
Asa?
or 17.8 acres,
Acres.
acres, the essence and culmination of traditional Chinese architectural accomplishment.
Mm. So the Forbidden City, ito yung parang palace ng China during the imperial dynasties of China in the Ming and the Qing dynasties. So yung layout ng Forbidden City is strictly following feng shui. That's feng shui, no? Feng shui yung pag-pronounce niyan, 'di ba? So this is like the best one of the best architectural marvels in history, no? So inside the Forbidden City, it's more of ano, where the emperor sits, some of the courtyards, and tama talaga 9,999 rooms, no, inside the Forbidden City, no. So right now because yun, the Forbidden City is now is more of a tourist destination siya, no. You can find more of it's more of like a museum already, no, museum or relics of the imperial history of China. So again, Ziqincheng is the forbidden city. Ziqincheng. Okay, so okay, I think we have consumed everything, no? So these are some of the items that you need to know when it comes to Chinese culture, not just the family, no, but also the festivals, the food, the clothing, the the festivals, the what is inside that festival, the Chinese zodiac signs. No, we also have the Great Wall and all of these different tourist destinations in China. No, so you as hospitality students and hospitality and tourism students, no, we must understand that these will also come to play whenever you travel, no, someday, no, or you want to try to uh, explore the cuisine, no, it's up to you, no. But then, as you learn the language, no, also come to receive that, that notion na you also have to learn the culture, no. That's a really important. So next week will be asynchronous next week. I'll try to uh maybe post some videos on this part, no, when we do our asynchronous activities, and maybe I'll try to ask you to do a reaction paper or something, or do some writing activities na lang when it comes to the vocabulary words next week, no. So please just atang la lang mo sa ato ang announcements in MS Teams. So next week we'll appreciate Chinese arts, music, and dance. Okay, so any questions? Okay, so that's it. Hope to see you next week. 大家再见。
老师再
老师再
见，
见，同学再
同
见。
学再见。
再见，再见。